Hello, my name is Dominic Underhallhouse and welcome to another episode of Moonbreaker. In today's video, we're going to be doing a build around on the Astra side of things for once. And what we're going to be looking at is making the best use of Into the Breach in its current format. So obviously we know Astra is going to change. It's going to be completely different, but we don't know how that's necessarily going to work. It is still up for debate. So what I wanted to do is have a go with Into the Breach in its current form and try and make as much use of it as possible. So what we've done in order to do that is we've picked any of the crew that I think have got, additional value with coming out and being able to activate straight away. Some of these things are a little bit straightforward, some of these have got a little bit of nuance to it. Let's have a look either way. The first one we've got, start over here, is Broken Vengeance. So Broken Vengeance is a really unique crew because what a lot of people don't realise is that if you put him in melee range of something and then shoot them, the melee unit attacks back, which then triggers his ability to attack any crew that damages Broken Vengeance, which then makes them attack back. It creates a really nice little chain against melee units, and sometimes you can get 2-3 attacks in. It keeps going until one of you dies. And in this list, having that come as a surprise could be really, really powerful. Next, we've got Blindsider Estley, so the ability to use the 2 Cinder. So use 2 Cinder to give it Into the Breach. Sometimes it's going to be taking us to having no Cinder left, and having a 4 damage, fast unit is going to be quite a lot of damage out of nowhere, to be quite honest. Next, we've got Rickety Backfire. Rickety Backfire is functionally the same sort of thing as Estley, just with a few different options on there. And also, we've got things like Taria Arsenal in this list as well, to potentially give Rickety Backfire rapid fire. So then you also get that 70% chance twice again. So that's a huge amount of damage that can potentially be heading that way with just a little bit of setup. Taurian Guardian is in here as a defensive unit. It's not in here as a aggressive unit or anything like that. It's in here as, let's just keep the game going a little bit longer, because we are going to have a few situations where we're going to be a bit slower than our opponents, because we want to hold things off to play them with that charge. Next, on the same front of that, is we've got Beatrice Enforcer. So there are times when giving Beatrice Enforcer the ability to act straight away is going to be useful and get that sort of AoE attack, but in general, it's a defensive unit, defending its early Maximus, that sort of thing. And then we get to some of the more fun ones. So Shrapnel is just good value. It's AoE, it can block the road slightly, and it's going to sit there and just sort of, probably not bring it out unless there's a reasonable opportunity to do so. But then it's basically more damage than the actual damage stack. Because if you can hit 3 units, that's 6 damage rather than 2. So it's an option, it's situational, but we want people to not know that that's coming. And then we've got Toxoid. So Toxoid is one of my favourite ones with Astra specifically, because if it's got poison, what you do with Toxoid is you give it haste, you give it charge, you remove stun, whatever you want to call it, attack something straight away, reduce it to 1 health, and then you attack it with Astra, and that reinforces as well. So we get an extra unit out of that as well. And then Tipu, we all know and love Tipu. Tipu grows whenever it hits something, but for them to be able to sort of know whether something's coming, it makes Tipu a lot less impressive, because they'll just try and shoot it down the turn before it gets to activate. A 4-8 Tipu with one of their crew off the board is going to be a lot harder for them to deal with than a 3-7. And then lastly, we've got Switchback. So Switchback is sort of, at this point, I know we're only a few weeks in, but I'd say almost the traditional endgame option for Astra. And the reason for that is that what Switchback does is just comes in out of nowhere. If you can give it Into the Breach, you can switch it up. If you can get all those done in one turn, it's 6 damage out of nowhere. So it's a really, really powerful ability. So this is what we're going to try. We want to just be making as much use out of Into the Breach as possible and seeing if we can build a list around it. It's quite likely that this is going to be a fairly strong list, I'd say, because we've taken out a couple of meta considerations. So there's a few things in here that would just be better options, as something else, but we wanted to go for more of a aggressive, sort of a Into the Breach focused approach. But overall, there's still a lot of powerful crew in here. So what we're going to be looking for early is probably Beatrice most of the time, but with Astra, we can boost morale over and over again and just keep on reducing those costs. So I'm looking forward to trying this out. Most importantly is Toxoid and Tipu are the ones that I'm going to have the most fun with and try and sort of get that sorted early on. But we've built the whole list around here, quite a few options there as well. The other one is Broken Vengeance is probably one of my favourite units to use because of that little chain interaction. So We want that to come up, we want that to be a relevant option, and that way we can say pick off a crankbait. I mean, Broken Vengeance versus crankbait, I think it works out as you take 2 damage and they die, which is a hugely powerful trade. So we're going to be looking for something like that, or Antios Gauntlet when he hasn't got this pump up ability active, a Blindside Resty when they haven't spent all their Cinder. These sort of things are going to be what we're looking for, because that gives Broken Vengeance the ability to one-shot something, still survive, and just have that little bit of extra value going forward in the game. So one of the things that I've been trying to do is build a list around each of the captains, and something a little bit more meta focused. So Extilior is going to be my next one here. I've got a few ideas for it, but I think that's going to be the hardest of them. But this one here is going to be more of an off meta pick. We can build a meta Astra, but meta Astra is something that sees a lot of rounds. It's pick the best units, put them into your list, and start playing from there. So hopefully we'll get a game soon. So I've got a few ideas as to how we want to play it, but I just really need to see what units we're going to get and how we're going to move forward from there. So if you what I want to say in the meantime, say I'm just killing time a little bit here. If you've got any ideas for lists or anything like that, especially ones before the new patch comes in, if there's anything that is specific to this current patch, if you want it to revolve around using assists in a certain way, revolving Astra a certain way, which is, like I said, why we're doing this now, or some of the characters that potentially going to be changing, let me know in the comments, drop me a message. Come find me on the Discord, because I want to know what your ideas are for how to make these lists if we've got time to do so before the new meta kicks in. So for now, I'm going to hold off for a little moment, and we'll come back when the game starts. Hello and welcome back. That was quite a long queue there. Queue actually dropped and we've had to start it again. So it's been a few minutes since we last actually saw each other. So we've got a reasonable opening hand here. We are against a Zax, so Zax is always an interesting one. Cinder Infusion and Stun is very powerful, so is Orbital. These are really good sets of assists. Given that we want to enter the breach, I quite like the Vortex Beam and Corrosive. Again, things that can surprise our opponents, so we're probably not even going to use these until we know what's going on. Ooh, we've got a pink Zax. That is a thing of beauty. I do like it that they've gone for like the sort of bluish grey metal tone as well. I like that. Oh, it's us first. Oops. We can just play Tower Arsenal and hide away. Just hide back here. That was awkward not noticing that it was actually our turn. So I still quite like the base model of this. I love the little whimsical leg up here, and also the second set of arms holding this just looks so odd. So one of the things to bear in mind is Zax deals more damage than we do, so we don't want to be just running straight into Zax. What we do want to be doing is getting enough to play Rickety Backfire next turn, because if we do so, then Taurian Guardian's even cheaper. Either way, we'll have both of these out in the next 2 turns. That's interesting. If you hover over Zax, his hair sort of looks gingery, so obviously it increases the lighting and things, but it goes from being like red to full-on like bright orange. Is that Maximus? Yeah, that's Maximus. So honestly, I just think we keep building up our little fortress over here and make them come to us. They probably have something along the lines of Orbital, but this is all fine. We're not in a rush. What we're going to do is next turn we are going to spread out, because we don't want them to be able to just throw an Orbital down at us immediately and take everything out that we have. So here, for instance, we're probably going to be moving Astra this way, Taria that way. In fact, if we only play one unit, there's actually a chance we could just full-on kill Maximus here. So let's just move out. Can we just drag their Maximus out? Let's go for this, because I think this is worth doing. Oh, that wasn't quite what was meant to happen, but oh well. We'll get our 4 damage in here. Oh. Of course, that's enough. I forgot to count. I was still intending on using Astra to kill there. We actually didn't need to use Corrosive. Oh, that crit actually probably makes a fairly big difference. Let's Rickety over here. Actually, no, Rickety needs to be near Taria to try and get the big finish. But okay, let's put Rickety out of sight, maybe. Yeah, we'll put Rickety out of sight because we have Gravity Well as an option, or Gravity Disc, because we can... Oh no, we don't have Gravity, we're not Zax, obviously. I'm so used to playing Zax, I'm just assuming we've got different passives. This is an Orbital Strike turn if they have it. Because this is going to kill Altaria, unless they miss here with a 7% chance of missing. Yeah, so that's obviously a move back situation. This feels like an Orbital. It could be something else, but if it's not Orbital, I think that's... Oh no, because we were going first. They have one more turn till Orbital. So what we actually want to do here is do the spread out now. So I'm going to go for the... Oh, is there a line there we can get the attack without... That doesn't say blocked. So let's just push some damage through. We've got another crit, that's perfect. We'll move Rickety over here. I think we're going to move Astra this way and just try and start chasing them down from multiple different angles, making it as hard as possible for them to orbital us. So this way I think they should only be able to get 2 units. They probably want to kill Taria. If not, they have to use Axel Pyro. I mean, Axel Pyro actually just kills Taria on his own, so that's not too unreasonable. But we can start reinforcing next turn. The issue is going to be we have got Vortex next turn, so we can go all out with Rickety and try and get that 6 damage in. But what we want to do is we want to force them to use their resources here and not somewhere else. So we're trying to make them put time and effort into defending their own home situation rather than just dealing with the rest of our board. I mean, Axel Pyro is a good unit versus Taurian Guardian if this is Orbital. Okay, Corrosive, yeah. And if we're then seeing Orbital, then... Oh, Corrosive's huge. I didn't think it would get all 3, to be honest. I thought it'd spread out quite well. Is this Gravity Disc Orbital? I mean, that's fine. If Orbital hits both here, I'd go for that. You don't need to hit my captain at this point in time. Also, if you're worrying about my new fashion choice here, I've tried changing it with a blind, but it just is what it is. Ah, that hitting is a bit sad. So I feel like we're going to see what their next assist is now. Unless they run out of time. Okay, so they got Snarling out. We obviously lose Taurian Guardian, which is not what we wanted to do, but it is what it is. Is there a world in which we can get these two together? Oh man, have I just... There we go, so that works. So we're going to seize initiative, Rickety Backfire. We're going to continue our trend of just moving over here and making them deal with us. Get that hit in. Or was it just here? There we go. So this gives us a huge... So actually, come to think of it, we haven't actually used our Into the Breach yet, but this could be loads of damage here. Yeah, and then this could potentially be a 70% chance. There we go. Excellent. This is something I've been underestimating for a while. I've not been looking at the proper damage of Rickety Backfire. So right there, that was absolutely huge. That was 12 damage out of Rickety. And we didn't really need to do much for it. So I need to keep that in mind for future. Yes, this is what I wanted to unlock. I really like these crash skins. In fact, what I'm going to do in between the next game, I'm going to go and put this on our list. Get our roster. If anyone played Magic the Gathering, I chose this as almost like an Azorius style. But there we go. Beautiful. I think that animation's awesome. So let's save that. We're getting there. We're getting there. Into the Breach. Right, so we didn't actually use Into the Breach once there. That's one of the things that this is just a good list. You know, we didn't come up with any of our really powerful Into the Breach sort of synergies, so we didn't get like a Tipu out or anything like that. We didn't find our switchback and start making that cheaper. Rickety Backfire is one of the ones we could have done so, but it was actually better just to play it out on the battlefield and save that effort. And we've got our same opponent. This should be interesting because we're going to see probably a completely different selection of models from them. Okay, so we're going first again. I think Reinforce and Vortex is still really good. Although Disruptor and Corrosive can hit like a truck. No, let's go Stowaway Vortex, because sometimes we want to be close together. They're level 18, so they are slightly higher level than us. So we'll boost morale. This time we don't have anything to play, and we'll just hide again. It's interesting that not only do we get the same matchup, but we're also on the same exact map as well. Let's just greet our opponent. Okay, so they didn't get their one drop here either, so we're going to reinforce first. We're probably just playing our Toxoid down over here, and then boosting morale. Again, we're not in a rush here. Taurian Guardian's a good one to have. We're kind of okay if they want to come over here. It's going to hurt, but okay, stowaway on both sides, that's fine. So what we want to do here is get this onto Taurian Guardian and just be able to start charging in if we get our boost morale as Taurian, because then we can boost morale, breach, charge, and start making some headway on the battlefield. We also wouldn't mind them playing a unit here that we can take out with Toxoid and Astra to get that free reinforce. Yeah, so this could go really well for us if they play something over here. We want it something without a strong melee attack. Okay, if they don't use their Cinder now, then we're fine. Because this doesn't do anything this turn. If I were them, I'd save the Cinder. But if they don't save the Cinder... Oh, they got a 1-drop. Okay, they've got Max. So we're actually just going to go and kill Maximus. So Maximus is slightly out of our range, but that doesn't really matter to us right now. In fact, even better, because we can get this very safe. Or is it better to kill Esdley? It might actually be better to kill Esdley. Esdley is a lot more dangerous than Maximus in the long run. So let's vortex everything back here, try and keep it a bit safer from them in general. And then we should be able to get... So we take a lot of damage here. It's going to be dead to Maximus. We're hoping for something like Taurian Guardian to reduce. So we got Taurian Guardian or Broken Vengeance. Or Rickety Backfire, which can just one-shot Maximus if it comes to it. I'm going to save Rickety Backfire and try and go for a haste play on that. We're going to play Taurian Guardian here. And try and just keep our Toxoid alive. So, again, this isn't the most powerful play, but this is actually a good chance of keeping it alive. If they can miss one attack with Maximus or just miss that one, we're in a good spot. And the fact that Toxoid regains 1 health every turn is really valuable here. Because over a couple of turns, that's going to be a live Toxoid. This is probably a good chance to be a dead one. But then I feel like they're putting themselves in quite a vulnerable position. So I don't know what they do here. They go for the 50-50 on Taurian Guardian. Yep, they went for the 50-50 and they missed. So I feel like here they're going to back off. Because we've got 2 melee units and they've got 2 range units. So it doesn't make sense for them to come towards us. It looks like they're trying to minimize this angle here, which is interesting. So they're hoping for a crit. There's a very good chance that he could have actually missed both of those, and that would have led to a very awkward loss of a unit there for them. Okay, so we obviously can't get this in range, but what we can do next turn, if we're not wanting to take any risks, is play Rickety and attack over here, especially if these two are in the same AoE. Sure, this is good for us. So who's our latest stowaway? So Shrapnel's good. Taurian Guardian is just going to take the easy approach and just kill a mine. Toxoid can just hide for a little bit. It's perfectly fine. But we might as well go for the big damage plays, because we can get this off. So right here we have a 70% chance of killing Maximus. And we've got that same 70% chance of dealing 3 damage to their captain as well. So this does put us in a situation where we're at risk a little bit, but that's absolutely fine. We're not here for... You know what? Looking at their units, and I haven't seen anything else yet, I'm actually just going to play Toxoid out over here, because this way they either have to go with Toxoid with a minus chance to hit, or they go at Rickety Backfire, and they can't afford to do both. Or if this is Orbital... Yep, okay, we're in a lot of trouble here. This was always an option. But we can't play... I suppose we could have played around it a little bit. I'm not sure too much what we could have done, though. So we have got our Vortex next turn. We've got the ability to haste a Broken Vengeance, so again, a cheap melee unit would be a really good thing for them to play for us here. Okay, what have we got? Yeah, so I'm looking at here like what we want to do over the next couple of turns. Tipu's one that we obviously want to get out and keep growing. We could even just start doing that next turn if they don't play anything that we can Broken Vengeance. But we have to rely on getting a lucky boost morale to do so. With 5 Cinder, I think it's best to just boost morale and see what happens from there. And there's multiple different options that could end up being good ones. Like here, this looks like a good approach for Shrapnel. Because if they play something just in this corner over there, we can get a Shrapnel over here and just get that AoE attack going. I'm curious at what it could be. So it's a large base that they're playing hidden. So is this like a static defense? No. It looks like it costs 4 Cinder. Oh, it's Switchback. Okay. So that just needs to die. So we can get 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're actually just missing a little bit of damage here in terms of what we need to kill it, which is quite unfortunate. So I think we need to boost morale, see what we get. It was Tipu. So I actually think that we're just going to move in here, try and Vortex. I don't think we can even Vortex in a way that comfortably gets us everything where we want it. Let's try this, see what happens. I think this is our best bet of getting, yeah, these two together was what I was about to say. So essentially we just need a crit. So we're going to risk taking a lot of damage off of our units here. We got the crit! Okay, that makes Tipu unbelievable here. And this is where the Into the Breach really comes in handy. Because we've just got Into the Breach on Tipu. Tipu's grown. It's now defended by our Taurian Guardian. We're massively ahead in this game, and we've still only got 1 turn each. Each turn we're only 1 turn away from our Vortex. Okay, so yeah, hit and run. Having Vortex here is really useful. They're just going to be hitting and running every turn, so we need to find ways of sort of slowing them down a little or just getting our own range damage, which is going to be Broken Vengeance. With 6 Cinder, again, we're just going to be boosting morale, playing Broken Vengeance, giving it Into the Breach. And this is where Into the Breach really takes over, because it's going to be very difficult for them to stop us applying that pressure. So we're going to be basically moving Tipu around in here, Taurian Guardian to protect it, and just trying to go for sort of some defensive plays. I think here we actually want to boost morale first, hoping to get it on Broken Vengeance, which we did. Then we can reinforce. Ooh, Taurian Arsenal. That's a nice one for next turn. I actually think this was a mistake in them not attacking here. We actually can't quite get into range. So let's move this up this way so it's harder for them to get over here. I want to basically make it as awkward as possible for them to deal damage to us. So what I want to do is basically move over here, get our range attack this way. We'll play Broken Vengeance here. Yeah, let's play Broken Vengeance here, Into the Breach it. And the question is, where do we want to go with it? And honestly, I think we're just going face. And then we can just move back here, keep us a little bit safer, and play a Tower Arsenal back with Broken Vengeance as well. So we've now got loads of pressure. They don't have enough damage to kill us. They're 2 turns away from Orbital after this. I think this is a game likely in the bag for us. So they can probably kill Taurian if they get the hit here. They can Gravity Discus all they like. I'm trying to think which of our units they can even kill, because this does essentially 3, so they need to get this hit to kill Taurian Guardian. But then we've got 6 damage, 8 damage, 12, 13, 16 damage if they don't kill anything. What What are they doing here? Oh, they're just trying to pull us away. Yeah, I mean, that's what we've got 9 range damage, and we've got the ability to give shrapnel into the breach as well. So this is a game where Into the Breach has worked. This has been what we've needed to do. Obviously, it's not over yet. They can still find routes out of this. But Into the Breach is something that has absolutely been instrumental in making this list work. And being able to get that Tipu in, that 1 crit actually was really important. We did have quite a lot of attacks to only need 1 crit, so it wasn't, hugely unlikely. It was probably about 30% chance of getting a crit. Sure, gravity discus away. Oh, I think they were. I don't know what they're trying to do actually. Oh, they're trying to just group us up here. Yeah, this is fine. Go ahead. Unless they've got Ursix Scattervine, I don't see enough ways to immediately impact the board. Florian answer, yeah. So here we give Broken Vengeance rapid fire. Move over here and rapid fire away. And we got a crit anyway. Perfect. So that was our look at sort of an Into the Breach list. So we've actually gone through a lot of different decks, a lot of different archetypes, and we've had a lot of fun with a lot of different things. So I think soon we're going to want to start revisiting them and seeing how we can improve them, and just seeing, how far can we get before the new patch comes in and changes everything. What more can we change? Where can we improve on some of these lists? So looking at these, I really just wish there was a screen where you could see all of your unit mastery at once, because that would be quite satisfying to see the difference. Blindsider Esley with a fun little logo there. Have we got anyone at rank 3 yet? I don't think we do. I mean, if it was anyone, it would probably be Torian Guardian. We can get our profile picture. But no, I've really enjoyed that. That one actually worked out with Into the Breach being a really key part of it. And it's what we built the list around. It did live up to our expectations. So I've really enjoyed doing this. It's been a fun list. I actually probably going to play a few of these off of camera as well, because it seemed to grow quite well, and it wasn't your stereotypical Astra list. It was still very much following the same trends, using some of the same combos, things like that, but it wasn't just an Astra rush, let's take the game out kind of list. So I'm going to play a few more games of this off camera. I've had a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it too. I want to say thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. It really does, improve my mood when you do so. I make sure I check every single notification. Thank you very much for watching, and otherwise, have a good day.